All right, for more on this, let's bring in CTV News political commentator and former NDP leader Tom Mulcair. Tom, great to speak with you on a
Good to be with
Friday
you, Scott.
afternoon. Yeah, as we near the end of week 2 of this election campaign, so of course, still lots of time left. But according to Nano's tracking, the Liberals continue to maintain a significant lead over the Conservatives. What do you think is resonating so much right now?
Donald Trump. I mean, it's a shame to have to say that so bluntly, but if you look at the week that we've just been through, we're a reflection of what the planet is now coming to grips with. Stock markets are in total chaos, plunging. Canadian companies are shedding jobs, shutting down plants. It's actually happening. So it is a time of crisis. That's not an exaggerated word to use, Scott. And I think the Canadians understand that. Mark Carney's a guy who's steered this country through a major crisis in 2008. Of course, he was the governor of the Bank of Canada then, and he did that with the government of the time. And he did the same thing in England with the Bank of England, in the UK when they were going through Brexit. That was another crisis. He's worked at the highest level of the United Nations. He knows how the world works, and he's got deep experience in the business world as well. So people see that. Even here, I live and work in Quebec. And I can tell you right now that you walk into a coffee shop, the banter might all be in French, but the name Mark Carney keeps coming up because people see in him someone who's capable of steering them through these very difficult, unstable times. So, yeah, those numbers that you're seeing in the polls there, they're actually stronger than that for the Liberals because their Liberal vote is more efficient. It's better spread out. The Conservative vote is really concentrated in provinces like Alberta, Saskatchewan, where they might get 60% of the vote, but it's just the number of seats in Saskatchewan and Alberta together are the same as the number of seats in the Greater Toronto area, and the Liberals will run that table, but with smaller majorities, and their vote will be spread out and bring in more ridings. That's, by the way, how the Liberals won 2 governments in a row, even though they were minority governments, because the Conservatives, both in 2019 with Andrew Scheer and 2021 with Aaron O'Toole, got more votes than the Liberals, and the efficiency of the Liberal vote and the larger pool of accessible voters. So anybody in the Green Party or in the NDP in a tight race in their area might say, look, this time around, I'm going with the Liberals because that gives me a chance of beating the Conservative candidate. You won't see too many people in the Green Party or the NDP saying, yeah, I think I might go over to Pierre Poilievre's Conservatives. And here in Quebec, the Bloc is in free fall, as is support for sovereignty. There are areas in rural areas of Canada, like where I live, that the Bloc was so strong they got 50% of the vote in the last election. The Liberals 25. Scott, this time around, the Liberals are going to be winning a lot of those ridings.
All right, we're out of time, but I just really want to get your thoughts on what the Conservatives need to do with the weeks that are left to turn this around.
Look, I was listening to the very sensible proposition that Poilievre was making today on intimate partner violence. Last night, there was this big setup for the French side of CBC, Radio-Canada, 3 senior journalists talking to each of the leaders. Poilievre was great. And he had the courage to say that he's going to stand foursquare against the discriminatory Bill 21 in Quebec that discriminates against religious minorities. It took guts to do that. So he's doing things that are emblematic of his character, and he's digging in strongly. But it's just that's not the page that Canadians are on right now. Canadians are saying this is a crisis. We need somebody who can handle that crisis. And unfortunately for Mr. Poilievre, the answer to that question for most Canadians is Mark Carney.
CTV News political commentator and former NDP leader Tom Mulcair. Great to speak with you. Thanks so much today.
Good to be with you, Scott.